She's not claiming anything happened to her. She's saying this is what had happened. So did it actually happen to someone? Did something happen? I don't know. I don't like threats that are not grounded in reality. So I'm curious to see if she is stopping and is moving on, or if this is just she says she's not stopping. So knowing this audience, you guys are all on the edge of your seat, I'm sure, at the moment with popcorn. I don't know why more people aren't talking about it. That's what she said. It is in a few publications. More on that to come. I find that kind of interesting. Heather Dubrow is furious. Gina, everyone's always afraid of Heather Dubrow. Are people afraid of Andy? Is that why this is not being covered? I guess people are always afraid of Heather Dubrow. I don't know. Well, Gina, they're saying Heather's afraid of Tamra. We saw that scene with pedantry. Is Heather afraid of Tamra? Uh, Maybe a little bit. Her life is easier when she gets along. But Gina, Heather's like being accused of being the new Teresa. We know about Teresa and Old Nose and the bloggers. Well, we never talked about this. It happened last week. It's kind of spilling over into this week. And Kirshenheider, when she was on Watch What Happens, you guys all catch this. And she, the ratatouilles. We know about the rat that scurries, and now we have the ratatouilles, Emily and Gina. And Gina said on Watch What Happens, she does hold Emily out when she does something wrong. She calls Emily out. We haven't seen it yet, Gina, but okay, we believe you. This is what Giselle and Robin were accused of all those years. So she said she did call Emily out when Emily leaked stuff about Katie's past in the custody drama, which came to a head last season on the reunion. And she said, also, I think you guys would be surprised to hear this, but Emily did not do the research for that. Emily's not the one who knew about that. She was told about that right before the reunion. She paused. She paused. Andy's like, don't pause, girl. Come on. She said, it was Dubrow. And I love her. But she's the one who told Emily about it. So she's implying Heather did the research because don't forget, last season, Katie said, Heather calls paparazzi on herself and blah, blah, blah. So Heather had an axe to grind with Katie. And Gina is saying Heather did this research about her custody issues with her children, the custody drama, and she's the one that found out about it. And right before the reunion, Dubrow conveniently gave it to the Ratatouille number one, Emily Simpson. And Gina says she told Emily about it. That's just the truth. I don't know how she knew that. Well, you're implying she worked with PIs and all that, Teresa Giudice style. I mean, somehow she found this out. But she's saying, there you go. Now, Heather, don't go down the road of Teresa. That didn't end well. She fired the scumbag lawyer, but New Jersey's still a mess, girl. So don't take us down that road. I think Gina's in huge trouble with Heather Dubrow. Heather Dubrow is furious, because Dubrow doesn't really clap back in the comments. Usually, she keeps to herself. Well, Miss Dubrow has actually responded, and she is furious. Here's her response to Gina Kirshenheider saying she told Emily Simpson about Katie Gidelle's custody battle. This is Heather Dubrow. Let's set the record straight. First of all, I do not research anyone. Okay. That is not my MO. I do not have time or interest to try to dig something up on other people. For the reunion last year, there were a lot of stories in the media circling about Katie, and some of us were sending them to each other because it was overwhelming and crazy. I did, in fact, send the article about Katie's custody to Emily. Okay, so she sent it. I did nothing more than that. Okay. So she's saying I didn't do any research or private eyes like Louis the Lobster. And I would never have brought this up at the reunion. I actually went up to Katie during the commercial break and said to her, that must have been a very difficult time for you. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I never would have brought this up. Kids and careers are off limits. Are they though, Dubrow? I don't agree. I think if you sign up for the show, everything's on limits, but that's just me. Not sure why Gina chose to include me in her response on the show or make it sound salacious, but it was not. All right, so who do we believe here? Dubrow or Gina? But Dubrow is pissed. You can rest assured my sources behind the scenes tell me she is fucking furious. We can rest assured this will come up at the reunion. Do not become Teresa, Heather. You do not need that in your life. And there is that. What else can I tell you? What else can I tell you about these ladies? Gina also said lots of OC stuff going on. I'm loving this season of OC. A friend of mine who doesn't listen to this podcast just called me and said she fucking hates the OC and can't get into it. You guys seem mixed. A lot of you love it. Some other people tell me they're not watching it. She also talked about when they said her and Emily, they said they are not ratatouilles. They are not mean girls. When we talked about formaldehyde and Gretchen, that was a compliment. We were saying she was well preserved. She looks the exact same as she did 20 years ago. Well, that is a compliment. I don't know about the formaldehyde. Andy then said something. He's like, oh, I meant it well now, and it came across shady. So there you go. She also said, shocker, the least trustworthy, Gina said, the least trustworthy member of RHOC is the rat that Scuddies. I'm not giving her any Gouda again this week. I'll throw Gina half a piece of Swiss because she gave us an interesting watch what happens. And Ratatouille number one, Miss Simpson. You get nothing, girl. You're being mean. Gina did say, even though she just accused Heather of spilling the stuff about Katie and digging, she said Heather is the most trustworthy, whereas the rat that's good is the least. She said that Teddy is the closest person to Tamra and Tamra's real life. Tamra does not break through with people easily. No shit. She has no real friends, and Teddy is the closest friend to her, and that's why she had a very tough season. I believe all of that. But I don't know. Teddy's best friend is Kyle. Someone should tell that to Tamara. But good for all of them. I hope they're enjoying each other's company. What else can I talk to you guys about here today? I know there is some more stuff. Well, the rat that scurries is back up to her old tricks. She's talking about Shannon and she's talking about Shannon's path of destruction. And she said she stuck up for John Jansen. She said Shannon has a path of destruction. John, you guys don't realize, this is Tamara's words. Just like earlier, I talked about Kenley Collins' words against Andy. Don't come after me. Although, I mean, she is the rat that scurries, so I don't got much to say about her myself. But she said that John Jansen's a good guy. Nobody realizes he raised his kids all by himself, and he's a single dad. And what's her problem with Vicky? She said, I don't know. Well, why don't you go ask her why she decided to hate me after a decade-long friendship? Go ask Vicky. Vicky is a nightmare. Let's not even ask Vicky anything. And she said, hats off to John. He's a good guy. And she said, Shannon has a path of destruction. And when she is done with you, she literally tries to tarnish you, tarnish your reputation, and destroy you. And that is her path of destruction. And that is what she is doing with John and Alexis. And that is what she did with me. And let's not forget, Shannon also did it with Vicky. Also, when Shannon crashed her car and Archie flew into the front and almost went through the windshield, she had no place to go and no one wanted anything to do with her and no one wanted to take her in. Vicky took her in. Why does everyone remember when Shannon was there? Shannon